Hello, this is Chatterboxing. I'm Sean, and I'm going to talk today about the situation at the moment with Billy Joe Saunders. He's in the news again for all the wrong reasons, really, and his image or his reputation in world boxing is really at an all-time low at the moment. It kind of started off pretty badly for him since he won the WBO title from Andy Lee. He was accused of ducking Golovkin. Um, he was very heavily criticised for some comments that he made, um, you know, to Chris Eubank about Golovkin beating them both in the same night. Um, now he's come up. People are saying he's ducking Rosado, ducking other middleweights, and yeah, that's kind of the image that he has at the moment. So I'm going to talk about it. I want to start with the sort of background information, give my take on the situation with Golovkin from when he won the WBO belt. He won it, I think it was like 9 months ago in December. Since then, he hasn't fought. Um, when he won it, he was kind of unlucky in the sense of the timing, because at that time, Golovkin was uh, kind of in the news a lot for people avoiding him. First, it was like, well, I can remember Martinez, Sergio Martinez, Cotto, Canelo came later. But various people. They were saying that Peter Quillin, loads of people were being accused of avoiding him. So that was kind of that narrative was, very well ingrained in the kind of boxing community psyche. So straight away when he got the belt, and obviously the comments that he made before, well, I'll come to that in a bit. Straight away when he won the belt, Golovkin and his team called him out. Um, they were in England. I remember they were at like West Ham, like Upton Park, West Ham Football Club stadium, uh, and there was a lot of speculation that they were there going to offer big money to Billy Joe Saunders, and that he basically turned down the fight, turned down the opportunity of making a lot of money. They were like numbers were like flying around that like seemed very high, um, and as quite often happens, not just in boxing but in life, a lot of people just hear something and then they just go with it as if it's a fact. They got no evidence to support it, but they just hear someone else say it, and then the next thing it becomes a truth, even though it's just one thing that one person said. The context of it as well, he was quite famous for before he won the belt. The comment he said like to Chris Eubank, he said like, "Oh, me and you, Golovkin would beat me and you on the same night." Now he said that in a kind of back and forth with Chris Eubank. Um, and you have to sort of understand, firstly, the sort of sense of humour, and secondly, just a slightly, I mean, well, I don't know how to really put it, but Billy Joe Saunders really does put people down. Like Chris Eubank, you heard some of the stuff he was saying to him, like crazy stuff. To me, it definitely seemed like just a thing he said, like off the cuff, to put down Chris Eubank, and kind of because Chris Eubank was talking as if I think it was his dad, but he was saying that he could beat Golovkin. The only person that could beat him was Andre Ward. Um, he was like the new Mayweather. Some pretty outlandish claims for someone whose best opponent at that time was, I don't know, maybe like a bouncer from Poland. So yeah, I think he sort of said it with respect to that, and I'm sure he regretted it, and I'm sure he doesn't mean it, but nevertheless, the statement was out there, and people ran with it. He said it, I suppose, so he's got to like kind of take responsibility for what he said. But the image, the kind of the idea was already out there that he was scared, that he didn't think he could win, and so that contributed to the overall feeling that yeah, he was just sort of terrified. He was ducking. He said he was never made a serious offer. They offered him like some money. He said it wasn't enough, but he was never shown a contract or anything like that. So he said he never avoided him, but he wanted to have it on his terms. Now, one thing I would say, people are gonna. You do have like there are a lot of people, a lot of boxing fans who will uh, look at it and really kind of think about what's going on and analyze the real circumstances surrounding every instance. But at the same time, there are also a significant number who are basically just a lynch mob in terms of the mentality. So they don't really need any evidence. They don't really need to like. They're not interested in looking at it from a different point of view. They just kind of get an idea in their head and that's it. Ah, he's doing it and it's black and white. I would say, um, in the case of Billy Joe Saunders, he's found himself in a position where he's worked all his life since a kid. He's worked very hard, um, sacrificed a lot. He's got to the point where he's now going to be able to make a lot of money. He's got kids. He doesn't have any other way, really, I imagine, of making money. Not a lot of money, anyway. And he's got into this position. He's won a belt. He's beaten a good champion to do it. He's beaten some good fighters along the way at like kind of British level, then European level, and he's kind of, put a lot of work in, beating unbeaten fighters quite a few times. Um, and he's got to this position now where he's won this title. So he can now start making some money with it. Suddenly, Golovkin comes along with all this kind of hype around him that everybody's avoiding him. Nobody wants to fight him. And everybody knows that he is good. He wants his title. He's put it out there that his, objective is to unify the middleweight division. So he has something that he wants, and he knows that. He knows he's in a strong position. So he's obviously thinking, well, your goal is to unify the middleweight title. What you need is basically like my belt. You want it. I know you want it. I'm in a very strong position. So if you want like a chance to win this, you have to put the money up. And that's what he's thinking. I know some people are going to think, oh well, look, what does it got to do with you? Like, are you like getting any money from it? No, I'm not. I don't care. It's nothing to do with me. In an ideal world, everyone would make loads of money and everyone would live happily ever after. But that's not the case. It's not really my focus. But the point is, reality is that he has an opportunity to get a very good deal for himself. He understands the position that he's in, and he's not going to give that opportunity up because a load of people who don't really either care or understand or have really given it any thought the situation are just kind of saying, "Oh, you need to do that." You really doesn't need to do anything. I mean, you could make the case that his reputation now, because of this, is pretty low. Yeah, it's true. But that doesn't change the fact that when it happened, he was in a position where he just won the title. Now he can make a load of money. Somebody's coming in, make him an offer. Someone he knows is desperate for something that he has. So he's thinking, okay, well, let me show me the money then. I don't really see how anyone can be that annoyed about that. I mean, that's kind of the way it works. Yeah. Anyway, nothing came of that. Um, but it did have a big effect on his reputation, and people. The common narrative is that he was offered like millions of pounds and stuff like that. I doubt it, to be honest. I don't think that was the case. But that's what people think. So it is what it is. Since then, however, his first defense was supposed to be against was it Max Bursak? Okay, he injured his hand, so he couldn't go through with that. Okay, fair enough. But now he was supposedly going to be fighting on the undercard of Canelo and Liam Smith against Gabriel Rosado. Didn't do it. Um, I mean, again, the common narrative out there now is that he's ducked Rosado, and it does seem to be that he has. I mean, I saw an interview with him. I read an article where he was saying that he's not going to get anything out of it. He's basically just a sort of gatekeeper. He's got 8 losses. Um, it's not going to do his name any good. Um, well, that may be true to a certain extent, but in the absence of an alternative, it seems to me like the most sensible thing would have been to have taken that fight, especially when you consider the exposure that you would have got from fighting on the Canelo Liam Smith undercard. Canelo's okay, his stock has gone down a bit. He's still a very big name. Still going to be a lot of people watching. It's going to be a massive crowd in a great stadium. HBO in America hasn't fought there before, as far as I'm aware. Um, so to me, it seems like a real opportunity missed, as well as the kind of image that people are going to think, oh, it's him again. Now he's sort of ducked Golovkin, now he's ducking like Brasado's like a gatekeeper. I mean, I even heard people saying he was like ducking Willie Monroe. I mean, the names that are coming out were every man and his dog apparently. Saunders is avoided. So yeah, it doesn't look good. Now, in terms of why he didn't take this fight, I don't know. I'm not really sure. It seems like a very bad idea on his part and a real wasted opportunity. I saw an interview with him on IFL TV where he was basically saying that he was there, he was in Spain, he was training, he was 3 weeks into a camp. So he was saying he was definitely going to be fighting in September. Don't know where, don't know against who, but he seemed the impression that I got from him was that he wasn't really happy with the way things were going. So I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, whether it's to do with money, whether it was to do with possibly Frank Warren kind of with the reins on him a little bit. That's possible. Frank Warren at the moment really isn't in a strong position in terms of who he's got fighting for him in comparison with his main rival Eddie Hearn, who's smashing it at the moment. Possibly he's really trying to, I don't know, like sort of hold Saunders back. Just speculating, but he didn't seem very happy, and he was talking about, all this happened. It's not my fault. Don't know whose fault it is. But that's the impression that I got. Also, I remember him before saying things on Twitter, saying, "Oh, these promoters should just stay out of it, and let people have these fights." Um, so yeah, it seems like there's something going on behind the scenes that is kind of sort of thrown a spanner in the works of his career. But yeah, as I say, that the Golovkin thing, I think it could have been handled better, but I think he was kind of a victim of circumstance, and I think I don't blame him for recognizing the strong position that he was in and wanting to maximize the opportunity. If that maybe it didn't pay off, maybe it will do. Who knows? But I can certainly understand his position there, and I think people were very quick to, you know, get on his case with that. May have been something to do. What definitely had something to do with what he said to Chris Eubank, and it definitely had something to do with the kind of surrounding narrative with Golovkin and being avoided. Um, so yeah, that certainly didn't look too good for him. But as I say, I can sort of see where he's coming from in that. In terms of this like Rosado thing, I don't know what's gone on behind the scenes, but it doesn't. I don't really understand it. I don't really understand why he's not taken that opportunity, because he would have gone in there, would have looked good, would have kept himself busy as well, because he hasn't done anything for like 9 months. So he needs to keep himself active. So I really don't understand that. I mean, the only thing I can think is that there's some kind of contractual dispute, or that he really wasn't happy with the terms. But he's wasted an opportunity to get good exposure in America, to possibly build up and generate interest for a fight with Canelo. And he's looked like he's kind of up to his old tricks again in the eyes of the kind of boxing public, particularly internationally, in America mainly, where his reputation, people just think he's a bit of a joke really now in boxing. He's famous really out in America for like avoiding Golovkin, and now they're saying he's avoiding like Rosado, Danny Jacobs, um, Peter Quillen's kid's geography teacher. I mean, I don't know. It's really like not good for his image. And then there was something as well with this Dan Rafael Twitter kind of thing. I saw a couple of things that he said. Um, I didn't actually see him. I saw screenshots of what he'd said. Now I don't know like exactly what had been said back and forth, but he really wasn't doing himself any favors with the stuff that he was saying. I saw one thing about, you know, bend your wife over and back the slag and all this. Um, that's a bit. I mean, below the belt to me. That's nothing wrong with a bit of, on Twitter, kind of bit of trash talk and stuff. But that to me is a bit much. It's not funny. It's just basically quite offensive. And you're talking to a journalist. I mean, he's reporting the boxing news. That's what he's supposed to do. So if you're getting that offensive and start talking about fucking his wife, then uh, yeah, he's not certainly not doing himself any favors with that kind of talk. And I used a woman, he called him like a paedophile. Now that kind of talk, I mean, that's very offensive, and it's also very, you get yourself into trouble with that kind of talk. I don't, I mean, what's he doing? I mean, that is just kind of crazy talk. I don't know if that's a reference to anything or if it's just a random bit of abuse, but it's very offensive. It's a very, you shouldn't be calling people stuff like that, particularly not a journalist who's just reporting what he's been told. That's what he's supposed to do. I mean, what he shouldn't say anything about anyone negative in case people are going to start flying off the handle. So, yeah, I think that to me, like as I say, I haven't seen the entire conversation. Maybe Dan Raphael was saying things just as bad. I don't know. But talking about fucking people's wives, calling them paedophiles, that's not the kind of language I really want to hear from anyone. I mean, how old is he? I mean, I don't know. He's 20, mid 20s or something, I suppose. But yeah, not impressed by that at all. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I don't know what he's going to do now. He says that he's going to be fighting someone in September. So let's see who it is. But it's kind of disappointing what's happened with him since he's left. I mean, since he won his belt. Yeah, he had the injury, but I'd really like to see him step it up. I'd like to see him, silence a few of these critics because he's really not doing himself any favors at all in terms of how he's conducting himself, and like how it's looking with his boxing career. Um, I don't know. Who knows what's going on with him behind the scenes, him and Frank Warren and all that. But yeah, that's hopefully he can sort it out. Hopefully he can start making a few moves. So yeah, I mean that's what I think on the matter. Be interested to hear what you lot think. So yeah, that's all I'm going to say on this matter. Thanks for watching.